the Earth right now is at a critical turning point as we move from the age of Pisces into the age of Aquarius, right? They say in the Bible, follow the man with the bucket of water. And that's signifying as we move from the age of Pisces to the age of Aquarius, it's going to awaken humanity.
Pisces being the fish.
Pisces being the fish, right?
That's why Jesus is, you'll see like any...
He feeds everybody with a fish.
Exactly.
Yes, the fish.
So
Gets the fishermen.
So the great conjunction of 2020 that happened on December 21st, right? That event signified the dawn of the Age of Aquarius, which is enlightenment for humanity. And
transcending to a new Earth, rather, a 5D existence of Earth. There'll be two planes of Earth, not physically, but on a conscious level, because there will be those who choose the third dimensional way of existence, which is choosing to stay in the lower levels of vibration, in the matrix, rather, and those that choose the way of the fifth dimension, the high level of consciousness, and those who perceive love and light.
As the Earth moves into a new density of being, that being of love, it opens up new doors for society to act in different ways, move away from all these power structures and dependence on industrialism and etc. It allows people to act more independently and with love. Not only does that open up the door for industrialism to move out, but it opens up the doors for people to gain more wisdom, right? We've been taught in schools a lot of the wrong things.
And through this new wisdom will come more technological advancements as well. But for the better.
Not the new wisdom, the old wisdom that we forgot.
Yeah, the old wisdom that we have to reawaken.
We're not really moving forwards. We have to move backwards so that we could go forwards.
Yes,
the reason it seems like we're moving backwards is because people want to go forwards, but the answer is back there.
The answer is back there. They are much more advanced in ancient civilizations
That's what we're trying to figure out.
We're trying to get back to the past.
So we're getting back to the past of the Egyptians, of their high level of society, the Sumerians of their high level of society, and even more societies
all over the earth.
Time to get back to
Eden. Back to the very beginning during the Atlantean and Lemurian civilization.
Exactly. Now, when we get to wisdom, which those societies may have been operating out of, right, which is that of fifth density. Wisdom is of the fifth density, and they all align with your chakras, being the root chakra, first density. Second density is the sacral chakra. Third density
The solar plexus.
is the solar plexus. Fourth density is the heart, and then fifth density would be the throat chakra, which is that of wisdom, right?
So on and so forth as you go. Fifth would be your third eye, pineal gland chakra. Seventh would be your crown chakra on the top of your head.
So in that of fifth density, you learn to balance wisdom and love, and you realize the duality of the universe in that when you make the two one, as Jesus says, as
the wisdom
Thoth says,
and the love. Yes.
Exactly, the wisdom and the one. It's an ever chasing tail, right? One's always chasing the other one. They try
the
and
dragon.
catch up.
That's in Gnosticism too. That the head eats the tail, and death they are reborn. That it all keeps going. It's cyclical nature.
And you can exist through wisdom without love, but you cannot transcend above wisdom without love, if that makes sense.
Because you can use wisdom to benefit yourself. That is what the service to self entities do. They use wisdom as the primary way they benefit themselves. Yeah. So they serve themselves 95% and others 5%, which is why it's so difficult to polarize.
It's very hard to polarize and reincarnate as a being that chooses service to self.
But it's much easier to polarize when you choose the service to others path of love, of light, of wisdom too, but a different type of wisdom, not that to yourself.
You only have to give your others 51% of your energy versus 95% of your energy to yourself, rather. Getting back to the third density, which we're all existing right now. Third dimension, third density, all the same thing. In the third density exists duality and polarity. So duality being, say, we'll use in terms of politics, the Democrats and the Republicans. Two sides to every coin, right? The good and evil, duality, right? With this duality comes the polarity, and so any being could choose to polarize to a certain level of each side of the coin. So with politics, they say there's the hard radical right, and there's the really far radical left, right? Those people choose to polarize to a certain extent that is so extreme, right? That's where the polarity comes from. And we see that a lot with everything going on in our society right now, because Earth is shifting to the 5D Earth. So everything is so polarized in society because we have that duality, right? So there's those who choose to stay in the third dimension, the matrix, the bots, all those people. They want to live in the lower levels of vibration, versus the 5D, the New Agers, that they want to live in a high vibe life. They're all about peace, love, joy, unity, consciousness, all of that. And that's why you see today so much this or that, picking sides, rather.
Picking sides and violence and hatred in
Violence
our world
and
and
hatred.
fear.
The middle ground has become erased and fallen apart right out from under us
And-
because this all has to
Exactly.
happen in the extremes that they go to.
And not only politics, but the major one. Where do all wars start? They derive from politics and religion. Most of the world's wars, the root of all evil is religion. And that's why when you take a step outside religion and you think about consciousness, rather, and oneness consciousness, whether oneness consciousness exists and is real anyway, I think it's a good way to live, because whether I'm Christian or Catholic or whatever versus someone that's Muslim or Jewish or Hindu, all this other stuff, I see them as separate from myself, right? But when you look at everything from oneness consciousness, whether oneness being real or not, I see them as a manifestation of myself, therefore I'm going to treat them better. Because there's people that like to start war over religion and this and that. So, like, if people coming from those positions of power that want to wage war over religion, just step back and see it from oneness, there's no reason to start war. It's all love.
There's no
They
reason
just
to
focus
harm
on the
yourself.
teachers rather than the teachings, and that's why they go to war, because their teachers are different. But they were all trying to teach the same thing, and it all just got lost in translation. People took it too literally.
Because
Instead of focusing on the message.
all
the
masculine
stories.
energy wants to feel power. That's all there is.
So we went over a lot of the densities today, right? And I think the main key point that we should emphasize is that third density is that of self-awareness, right? But to get to fourth density love, you have to realize that the self is not only in you, but in everybody you encounter and everything that you perceive. So treating everybody, everything as yourself makes for oneness, makes for harmony in the universe, because there's chaos and there's harmony in the universe, and they're always going to be chasing each other. But if you stay on that side of harmony, you're going to live a much more fulfilled life, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, that's why Jesus says love your enemies, because that's just another portion of you that you gotta love.
And the easiest way to do such, to perceive the unity consciousness, the oneness consciousnness, is just forget about your ego and let that shit go. Let that shit go, and you will be on the way to get harvested to those higher levels of consciousness.
Exactly.
Humble
That's where
yourself.
we're going. That's where we're going.
Humble yourself.
Check yourself before you wreck yourself.
Exactly.
Humble
That's where
yourself,
we're going.
baby.
We're going to a new earth. As Eckhart Tolle says, presence is the key. And through presence, you find love. So that's it for this episode of the 5D Spiritual Warrior Podcast.
Tune in for episode number 4, where I don't know what we're talking about yet, but we're
just know
coming
we're coming
after
for
you.
you.
We're coming after you.
We're coming after
We're
you.
watching you, YouTube.